Good morning, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black people. I hope that all is well in your world and this day will be a very good day for you and all of your wonderful, wonderful loved ones. Beautiful, intelligent black people. I want to thank that idiot white boy, Trump, for a few things. First of all, I would say thank you, idiot white boy, Trump, for revealing to the American people and the world who you are and who the Republican Party are. We now know that all of those things that the Republican Party proclaimed to be prior to Trump was all a pack of lies. It was all lies. The Republican Party was none of those things. The Republican Party are now none of those things. Trump has revealed who the Republican Party really are. And I would say this about the Republican Party. The real REAL patriots, the real white patriots left the Republican Party. In the era of Trump, the real white patriots left the Republican Party. For example, Steve Smith left the Republican Party. George Will left the Republican Party. Just to name a few. There are many other ones. A lot of them are members of this entity called the Lincoln Project. They are the real past used to be Republicans that left the Republican Party because of Trump and because of what the real Republican Party was exposed to be. The real Republican Party, we know now, here in America, and the world knows that the real Republican Party is a party of traitors, a party of criminals, and a party of white supremacists. That's the real Republican Party. The real white patriots left the Republican Party. And I would like to thank the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic that has killed more than 170,000 Americans. Families have lost loved ones. And that's a tragedy. But the COVID-19 pandemic have brought to the forefront the economic disparities and its consequences have been revealed. It has shown us that economic marginalization of black folks, of brown folks, of all non-white folks has consequences. It prevents those non-white folks from having access to health care, medical treatment. Therefore, those non-white folks their lives, their bodies are ridden with chronic conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney issues, heart problems, asthma, etc., etc. And all of these preconditions are detrimental when the body is infected with the COVID-19 virus. So the COVID-19 pandemic have brought to fruition the real consequences of centuries of economic marginalization of black folks, of brown folks, of all non-white folks. And I want to thank the COVID-19 pandemic for bringing that to the forefront. We know who the traitors are. We now know who the traitors are. It is those white boy, white girl Republicans, the GOP, and the Republican Party. They're all traitors. They're all white supremacists. They're criminals. They're criminals. For decades, the Republican Party was incognito. They professed to be Christians. They professed to be patriots. They professed to be honest, truthful. They professed to be for the American people. They are not. Now we know them. We know what they are. And for those white folks who are still supporting Trump, you are Trump. 170,000 Americans have died. There's no national plan to stop, to squash the COVID-19 virus. It is running rapid, unabated, all across this plantation called America. Do you know that more than 1,400 Americans are dying from COVID-19 every day? Do you know that one American is dying every 60 seconds? Every 60 seconds, an American is dying from COVID-19, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. And this Republican Party, Trump and his administrations, are lying to us every day. They are committing crimes. They are criminals. They're committing crimes. They're committing medical malpractice, healthcare malpractice with their lies about COVID-19, with their lies about vaccines and supposedly therapeutic treatments, etc., etc. We now know that Trump is a want-to-be dictator. We now know that the Republican Party is filled with want-to-be dictators. They are all bowing down at the feet of Trump, licking his boots, tugging on his testicles, kissing his white ass, etc., etc. I want to thank Trump and the Republican Party for revealing who those so-called white far-right Christians really are. We now know that Jerry Falwell Jr. is a fake. We now know that Franklin Graham is a fake, is a phony. Jerry Falwell is a phony. Jerry Falwell Jr. is a phony. Franklin Graham is a phony, just like Trump. They're all phony Christians. The Christian right is a bullshit entity. They are white supremacists. They are criminals. They are unpatriotic, just like Trump. They are Trump supporters. They are Trump enablers. Never listen to any of these fake-ass, phony white Christian folks that are still supporting Trump. The real Christians are not Trump supporters. The real Christians are not enablers of Trump. We also have coons and coonettes that are enablers of Trump. Diamond and Silk, Tim Scott, U.S. Senator Tim Scott, Pastor Darrell Scott of Cleveland, Ohio. There's a group of black pastors that are enablers of Trump. These are coons and coonettes in the pulpit. They are likened to pimps in the pulpit, latching on to the breadcrumbs, the peanuts that Trump and the Republican Party will throw at them as they perform in the minstrel show, in the human circus that Trump, the Republican Party, creates for black folks, for those black coons and coonettes. The Republican Party creates a minstrel show for them to perform and entertain those racist white Republicans, and to use these coons and coonettes as they wish. Take a look at their so-called GOP convention coming up next week. You will see black coons and coonettes performing in a minstrel-like show, in a human circus-like environment, surrounded by white folks that are laughing at them in the skies. that are belittling them in disguise, that have no interest in what they are, who they are. They only have an interest in using them for their own benefit. The coons and the coonettes are supporting Trump. In the era of Trump, we now realize that Wall Street, the big banks, the big oil companies, that Lindell guy, owner of that My Pillow company, we know who those people are. They are white supremacists, just like Trump. Wall Street is loaded with white supremacists. The big banks are owned and operated by white supremacists. The big oil companies, ditto. The Fortune 500s, the CEOs, most of them are supporters of Trump. We know who the real patriots are. The real patriots are not supporters of Trump. Trump is likened to Hitler. He's likened to Hitler. And the Republican Party, they are likened to the Third Reich. They are likened to all of those white folks that fell in line, called Nazis, that supported Hitler, that enabled Hitler. And know this, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. These white Republicans, Trump and his administration, if they could today, they would kill us, all of us black folks. They would eliminate all of us non-white folks. If that's how they could sustain the power that they have and power grab more power. To these wannabe dictators in the Republican Party and that wannabe dictator in the White Boy House, power is everything to them. It's power and money. It's money and power. Policy, the American people, our democracy, the rule of law means nothing to these folks. It's all about power and money. That's all I have on this one.